So what is happening? The electrons, right, are moving from anode through the resistance R to cathode, right? That is normal what happens. Electrons are going to move. This is negative. It is having much more electrons, much more negative potential. That means electrons will move from what? Anode through R to cathode. Hence, there will be a current flow. If electrons are moving in this direction, means the current will be in this direction, right? The current will be in this direction, electron will be in this direction. Now what happens? The electrons are accumulated in the electrolyte. That's the theory which you can read in H.C. Verma book. You will see that there is a statement that electrons are accumulated in the electrolyte. So how it is happening? Why they are saying so that the electrons are going to be accumulated in the electrolyte? See, let us see if we leave an electron in the electrolyte. Suppose I am going to leave an electron. We will make it as another color, guys. Suppose this is my electron, right? I am leaving it here, right? Where does it want to go? This is electron, right? Where does it want to go? It always have an attraction to the positive charge, so it wishes to go here, but it is not so. It is not going to happen. Electrons are not going towards the direction, but in this direction. That is, it is going to flow in this direction. So you would ask me why? Because it is not logical. For logically, electrons are supposed to move towards a positive charge, but electron is not moving. So in an electrochemical cell, electrons are moving from or towards the negative charge cell, right? So why, I will tell you. Now electrons are moving from anode to cathode, right? That we are told, but then that is to the external circuit. But this circuit has to be completed, right? Then only the entire circuit can be completed. See, I'm going to draw it here. This is two metal plates. This is your external circuit, and you told from here the electron is flowing like this, and it is coming here, right? And from here there is only electrolyte, right? So if the electron flow from this position to this position, only the circuit will be completed. So to ensure that the circuit gets completed, the electron moves towards the negative terminal, right? Now how does this electron? But because electron will by itself will never move from or will never move towards a negative terminal. It will always move towards a positive terminal only. So an energy has to be given to this electron to force it to move towards a negative anode, right? So some energy has to be provided. This energy is provided by the exothermic reaction which we learned here, right? That is, the exothermic reaction is undergoing in the electrolyte, right? This exothermic reaction produces a lot of energy, and that energy is enabling the electron to oppose the electrostatic force, right? What is electrostatic force? Electrostatic forces in this direction, that is, which it allows the electrons to move towards the positive cathode, right? But we want the electron to move from where? From positive to negative, which is against the electrostatic nature. So that much energy is provided by whom? By the electrolyte. This energy now forces the electron to move from cathode to anode. That means this force is not, or I can say is a non-electrostatic force. This much clear. After this only we can come to the same main point or the next topic, which is EMF. I hope this much is clear. I hope you understood the electrolyte section also. I can say what is happening in a cell, right? This much clear means we can go to the main topic, which is EMF, right? EMF. So EMF's full form is electromotive force. Right, even if the term is having force, it is not actually, electromotive force is not a force, it is actually a potential. The unit of EMF is volt. So obviously it is something related to potential difference, guys. But the force was given because olden times, ancient times, when they learned EMF or when they understood a concept like this, they thought it is actually a force. Hence they named it as electromotive force. But later on they learned about it and understood that EMF is actually a voltage or as a potential. So what is the definition of EMF? It is a potential difference between two electrodes of a cell when no current is flowing. what? Potential difference between two terminals of an electron, sorry, of a cell when no current is flowing. Clear? So here when I am removing this, what? External circuit. So I can say this one, there is no external circuit, there is no resistance here, right? So there is a potential difference between these two terminals, and that potential difference is said to be what? It is said to be EMF. See, I am going to draw it again as a rough figure, guys. It is having an electrode like this and another electrode like this. This is having, suppose, minus V. This is plus V. This much clear? So potential difference, delta V, this is electrolyte. What is delta V? Delta V will be potential difference between these two guys. So V plus this one minus V. So it will be what? Let's term it as minus V. This is plus V. So it will be V plus V minus. Right? I hope I just gave it symbols, guys. You will say, why can't I write 2V? It can change. It might not be the same value, usually the same value itself. Yet we can term it as, suppose this can be a 2 minus 2 volt. It can be plus 3 volt can happen, but usually doesn't happen. Usually it is minus 2 means it will be plus 2 itself. But I'm just indicating that let's give it a symbol like this, minus, and this plus. It's okay. Clear? So this is what is the potential difference between two terminals. Simple, guys. Now let's understand in a layman language, which you have seen in your entire life, that is a battery. Suppose you are having, or you are going to purchase a battery which is of 1.5 volt. How much? 1.5 volt. It is not connected to any supply, right? Now you are having a just a red color Nippo or whatever. Every day you are having red, the cell is having one, or you see 1.5 volt on the cell. That means that 1.5 volt, when you connect to the circuit, it will never give 1.5 volt. That will tell later. That 1.5 volt which you see over that cell is the EMF of the cell, because now that battery has not yet been connected. So 1.5 volt which has been written on that battery is the EMF of the cell. So once I connect this battery to any circuit, say a resistor, right, a potential difference between the terminals starts decreasing. Let's see how. Suppose this is my circuit. Suppose this is 4 ohm resistance, and I always connect a voltmeter in parallel to understand. I hope you understand why voltage is always same in parallel. Whereas in connection or finding the current, I connect an ammeter in series. I'm having a cell which is having EMF of 12 volt. Okay, I forgot. EMF is always representation is right like this. It looks like E, but epsilon or whatsoever, it is written as E. Is how your textbook is indicating. Clear? Now this is your circuit. So how much will be the current which is flowing in the circuit? I is equal to V by R, or I will say here E by R. How much is the EMF here? Or that means 12, that is 3 ampere is the current which has to flow or should be shown in the ammeter. Clear? But actually what happened? This is something which I am expecting, right? This much current has to flow through the circuit. This is what you are supposed to find as per Ohm's law. But actually when you calculated the value or saw the value in ammeter, the ampere or the current was only say 2 ampere. And you saw that the voltage also is not 12 volt, there is only 8 volt indicated across it. So that means out of 12 volt, only how much volt reached? 8 volt only reached this 4 ohm resistor. So rest of the 4 volt, where did it go? That was a big question. That is where the term internal resistance come up. I hope this much is clear. See what happened. We connected a circuit with a 12 volt supply. That means it was not connected first, right? So its EMF is 12 volt. Now to a resistance 4 ohm, and I connected a voltmeter and an ammeter like this. Voltmeter to find the readings of voltage across this 4 ohm resistance and current through the entire circuit. So actually the current was supposed to be 3 ampere. But ammeter showed suddenly that it is having only 2 ampere. That means there is a loss of 1 ampere. Similarly, the voltmeter also showed how much? Only 8 volt. and how much loss? 4 volts. So there was a big question, where did this 4 volt or 1 ampere current lost came up? That's where internal resistance come up. See, what is internal resistance? Internal resistance symbol is small r, and the unit of course resistance means is ohm, right? Now internal resistance is obstruction offered to the path of current due to the material of the electrolyte of the cell. See, this I consider a cell, right? This is my cell, and I had 2 electrons like this, and in between this was electrolyte, right? Now this electron was suppose this is my negative and this is my positive. This electrode had to move from here to here. Was it easy for it to move? Energy was given by the exothermic reaction, yet it is very difficult for electron to move from plus to minus, right? So that means it had done a lot of work. And if the type of electrolyte changes, that much difference will be the work the electron has to do. If the electrolyte is not that much of exothermic reactive, means that much least movement in the case of electrons, that means that much obstruction greater, right? So there is an obstruction offered to the path of the current, right? See, electron movement, there is an obstruction, means there is an obstruction in the flow of current too. So obstruction offered to the path of current due to the material of electrolyte of the cell is known as internal resistance. So whenever you consider a cell, it will never give its rated value potential to a circuit. Sum of it is taken by its own resistance, which is termed as internal resistance. I will draw the same circuit again, guys, to make you understand. So this is your circuit here. This is 4 ohm. So how much was the voltage across here? There were 8 volt, right? Now this is a 12 volt supply, and I'm going to draw a small resistance over here, and this is your internal resistance. Clear? Now this and all V etc. I will tell you. How much was the current actually flowing? 2 ampere current. I hope clear. Let this R be 2 ohm resistance, right? Now the calculation will be correct. See, 2 ampere current is flown through here, means 2 into 4, 8 volt is correct, right? You got 8 volt only, right? You got 8 volt only across this. So 2 ampere, 4 ohm, you got 8 volt. So here see, R 2 ohm. How much current is going to flow here also? 2 ampere. So how much will be the voltage here? 4 volt. 2 into 2, 4 volt, right? So what is the total? 12 volt, right, is equal to 8 plus 4, that is 12 volt. Now you got the entire 12 volt. I hope this much is clear. See the circuit, right? This internal resistance we didn't consider earlier. So this internal resistance, say 2 ohm, is taking the 4 volt of the 12 volt supply, so that only 8 volt reaches the external circuit. Clear? That means this 8 volt, which is the actual voltage which is received by the external circuit, is known as your terminal voltage. What it is? Terminal voltage. These are all important terms, okay? Terminal voltage, and the unit obvious will be volt itself. So what is terminal voltage? It is a potential difference between two. See, this 8 volt is actually between this terminal also, right? Same point, right? This point, this point, this point, this point is same. So this A and this B. Now can I consider this point A as also B? Right? Same, right? So let's see the definition of terminal voltage again. It is a potential difference between two terminals of a cell. A and B are the terminals of a cell. So you would say, why this and this point are not the terminal? Obviously I have to consider the internal resistance. Why? It is a part of the electrochemical cell. So A and B is the actual terminal of the cell. Right. So potential difference between two terminals of the cell when current is drawn from the cell. Right. Drawn from the cell when you are. See, initially what was EMF? EMF is the what? Potential difference between two terminals of the cell when there is no external circuit connected to it. Whereas potential difference between two terminals of the cell when current is drawn from the cell. or when I say when an external circuit is connected to the cell is said to be what? Terminal voltage. This much is clear. Let's see that you can get an equation in a simpler term. See, what is 8 volt with this circuit? I can mathematically say it is 12 minus 4 depending upon the parameters here, right? So what is 8 volt here? That is across A and B, or I can say that is your terminal voltage, and it is usually indicated by V. Clear? What is 12? 12 is the EMF of the cell. That is when it is not connected to any circuit. When it is not connected to a circuit. When it is not connected to a circuit. So that is your EMF. So I can write it as E. And what is 4 volt? 4 volt is the current which is, so I can write it as, say, 2 into 2. Right. What is this 2 into 2? This 2 is the current flowing through the circuit, and this 2 is the small resistance, right? So I can write it as IR. So I'm going to complete this equation like this. V is equal to E minus IR. This equation is very important, guys, because this is something which you have to deal with: potentiometer, Weismann's bridge, and so on. Clear? This is not the way of getting this equation. There is another proof which we'll do in the later video, but I hope this much is clear. Right? How did we come up with this? 8 volt is the terminal voltage. That is a voltage which it is given, or which is produced when the supply or the cell is connected to an external circuit. That is always less, right? Is equal to EMF of the cell minus the current or the voltage which is taken by the internal resistance. It is very easy to understand. Clear? And see, guys, here I am telling that the terminal voltage is less, but there is a condition where the terminal voltage can be greater than EMF, where there are rechargeable batteries, right? On those conditions, once the charge is completed, I can recharge it. Suppose I am giving 18 volt or 16 volt in charging a battery. So 4 volt will be taken by this internal resistance. Then what of the rest of the 12 volt will be taken by the cell itself, right? So I can say that condition, the terminal voltage can be greater than what? EMF. That is during the charging mode. This is not mentioned in your book, yet you have to know it. Clear?